Good morning, everyone. This is Janet Wakeland with Remarkably Created, and today we are going to begin opening the doors of this 2025 Crafters Advent Calendar. For those of you that are just becoming familiar with this offering, one of the things that you need to know is it's while supplies last. And so while I will be opening a door a day for 12 days, if you're waiting to see all 12 items to make your decision, I'm going to be honest, there is a chance then that you could miss out, okay? So hopefully the first couple of doors may be enough to entice you. In addition to opening a door a day, what we'll do is we'll take the previous day's reveal and we will make something fun with it. We'll create with it, play with it, all of that. So in addition to the 12 exclusive products behind the doors, the Advent box also includes this amazing stamp set called the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar with some great solid stamps and some images. So we'll come back to that. So here's our box. And so we have day one down here. And let's get our fingers punched in. I'm opening with you for the first time too to ooh and ah. Oh my gosh, it's some great mini dies. Oh. Okay, guys. Some great dies, but better than that, oh, let's close this up. This is cool, guys. This is fun. So here's this stamp set. These little dies, look at that. They're going to cut some of these images out for you and then give you some bonuses to work with that. You're going to have your leaves, some little extra bonuses, and then look at that sweet rainbow. So you're going to have a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dies as our first, and some of those images are going to coordinate with this stamp set. Oh my gosh, guys, I love that. So one of the things that we'll talk about towards the end is storage ideas for the goodies that you're going to get out of this Advent. I see that we're going to need to have some ideas for that, but for right now, it's in a great Ziploc bag, and because it coordinates with this, I would just simply keep that in this stamp set. So tomorrow you'll see some samples where we're gonna play with the dies, both alone, and I'm sure we'll bring it back to the stamp set. So again, each day we'll open another door, day 2 tomorrow, and then crafting with the previous day's look. So let's see the cards that I made, and then I wanna share some crafting tips with you. So just kind of going a little formal, having a little fun. This is our weekend paper, and then I just layered stylish shaped squares on top of the label there, pulled in our very elegant black and gold, and no greeting on the front. Sometimes I like to leave it plain and like to let the image speak for itself. We'll put the birthday wishes greeting on the inside. Then use the flowers to create a poinsettia look, and I love the branching out frames. Oh my gosh, they're just absolutely amazing. That beautiful shaded spruce ribbon with a little knot, may your Christmas be bright. And then the sweet butterflies from the set, just kind of work them up the side for someone extra special. And then just grab any sequins out of your stash. I know that I tend to hoard sequins from the paper pumpkin kits and the kit collections, so I have some of those. So let's talk about some things that are really cool about solid image stamps. And I just brought in some scraps and things for you. And we're not going to actually create anything. We're just going to give you some tips for solid image stamps. So first and foremost, with solid image stamps, when you ink them up, you're just going to get that nice bold color, okay? Now I haven't applied any other ink, so of course I can always stamp them off for a second look. And then when I start to stamp over top, it's what's going to start to create that dimension. So the very first thing is just a really, really bold look. But now let's put that paper aside and let's grab another piece of white. And so in this case, I'm going to take my bold stamp and I'm going to spritz it with water. I'm going to spritz it just a little bit off camera so I'm not spritzing over my samples that are here. And now when I go to stamp it, I'm going to get more of a watercolor look depending on how much water I've put on that stamped image. Okay, so I can spray right onto that and I'm going to start to get that watercolor look, okay, that kind of blended in look. The other way to get that look, and let's just do it this way. I'm going to move these up and out of our path. I'm just going to spritz the cardstock, okay? And we're going to take our stamp, and I'm going to just stamp into that puddle of water. And I'm going to go for that watercolor look. And that's always a nice, fun look to achieve with your nice bold stamps, okay? So we can do something fun like that. Something else with the bolder stamps, let's grab our little butterfly here and pull our little butterfly in. We'll take that off and clean that at the end. So let's grab our butterfly. And when we have our strawberry slush, I'm going to ink our butterfly up. And just as a reminder, Stampin' Up's dual tip markers are retiring, and they are available while supplies last. While many of us love them, not enough of us love them to keep them in stock anymore. But scoop them up so that you have replacements when yours run out of ink, and so that you have all of the current in colors as well. But in this case, I've inked this up, okay? And when you look at the stamps, there's kind of these natural, I call them shading lines, if you will. And in this case, I'm just going to take the brush tip, and I'm just going to come in here where some of those lines are, and I'm just going to add a secondary color to give my, oops, wrong paper. I'll come back to that in just a second. Let me breathe on this. When you're working with markers, the hot air that we have in our breath actually has moisture in it. And so we can go ahead and add a secondary color very easily to our bold stamps. And if I bring my butterflies back in here, you can, oops, let the camera focus. You can see that secondary color. In this case, I did Melon Mambo on top of Strawberry Slush just for a subtle look. Something else with our bolder stamps, and I'm just going to bring the icing in here for a minute. And we'll come back to our watercolor paper here in just a second. But let's bring in, and in this case, I'm going to work with, just so you can see it, the basic beige. I'm using this more and more as a neutral, and I have pecan pie or pecan pie, depending on where you live and where you were raised. I say both ways now that I live down here in Louisiana. So if I ink this up just plain and put it on my paper, it's going to be just plain, right? So in this case, I can take my image, I can take the brush tip, and I can kind of create an edge, if I want, around my icing, okay? So I can do that. Another way to create that edge without a marker is to do what's called rock and roll. You're going to take your stamp and you're going to kind of roll it on the ink pad. You may pick up a little bit of ink on the corners of your block, and that's okay. Just take a little tissue, walk it off, and you're going to have that. So you can see some of the little pecan here in the middle, and then it's darker. Works better with much larger stamps, but you can rock and roll it. Then the other thing, let's ink this back up again. Another way to add color to your bold stamps, you're going to take your brush or a dauber blending brush, and now I'm just going to brush some color on. Okay, so we can just add some cool color. And now when I stamp it, I'm going to have some darker edges. And if I bring this card back in, you may not have noticed it right away, but there's shading over here on this side, and then you can see the shading underneath to make it look fun. The other thing, and I'll just continue to use this bold stamp here for a second. Let's ink it up. I can also take and, so I want to kind of create just, you know, maybe some swirls or something, some little extra texture through it. I can definitely, oops, I missed the total top of my thingy. Hold on. Do as I say, not as I do. So I can work right on through, and I can kind of add some stripes or lines. I can color adding some dimension to it. And while this is not going to work the best, because it's not a super large stamp. It still gives you an idea with your big solid stamps. So let's ink this one back up again. And the other thing that you can always do is then take another smaller stamp and I can stamp onto this. So the bold stamps, guys, that are in this set are going to give you just a lot of creative possibility. Okay, so there's lots of ways that you can be altering your bold stamps. For those of you that are demonstrators watching this, turning a set of bold stamps into techniques with bold stamps would be a really fun class. I know that people always love learning about techniques, different ways to use their product. I love using my product in different ways because it extends the value of the dollars that I invested into them. So now let's bring these two ink pads back in. And earlier I was spritzing on just plain white, basic white cardstock. Well, in this case, let's do a little bit of spritz on watercolor paper. I'm working direct on the glass mat. I love this mat, guys. Big join special if you're a customer watching this, coming beginning October 1st. If there's some high-end purchases you've been wanting, this would be a great time to get that glass mat with that join special, because oh, the amount of product that you're going to be able to get is just off the charts for $39. I think it's $35, and I don't know. Don't quote me on the prices. I'll share it here with you at some point. So let's go ahead and we're going to just spritz our watercolor paper. This is thicker, so make sure these are clean. Your photopolymer stamps will stain, especially when you're using some of the bolder colors, especially anything with red pigments in them. You may see that start to you can take your heat tool and heat this to dry it if you want it to dry a little faster than what just setting it aside will do. And while it's still damp, let's come in here and let's use this flower for a pretty fall card. And that's my final tip for you as we let this one dry and percolate, and then we'll go ahead and finish it up and include it here in an album for you, is that color also is an extremely powerful tool for you as a crafter. Color in this case made a Christmas card. Color in this case is going to make a beautiful fall card. So have some fun. For those of you that already have the set with door number 1, your new dies that coordinate with this stamp set, and then come back and join me tomorrow. I'll post a video usually between 10 and 11 Central Time every day for the next 12 days or beyond. Who knows? Let's see how much fun we have together, guys. Thanks.